New Mexico Magazine is moving and grooving in the September issue, and it hits stands tomorrow. Whether you put the pedal to the metal or you put the pedal to the pavement, you'll be itching to hit the road because this issue is packed with places to go and people to see. And Editor-in-Chief Dave Herndon joins us with the details. Good morning, Dave.
Good morning, Nikki.
It was good reading for me this weekend. I enjoyed it very much.
Good. I'm glad you did your homework.
Oh, I know our readers will as well. You know, I want to say this. The headline reads, "The next great state for mountain biking." I mean, I know our co-host Kristen would love to hear that because she's a big mountain biker.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about it because, you know, in fact, I want to mention that the International World Summit is actually coming to Santa Fe in October, making the state poised to become the Southwest's next hot mountain biking destination. So let's talk a little bit about the trails that are featured in this month's issue.
All right. Well, the beautiful thing about New Mexico is that we have a lot of different kinds of terrain, from the, so the mountains to the deserts and everything in between.
Yes.
So if you just look around, you can see it makes sense. It's a great place for mountain biking. So we identified 7 key areas in the state,
Yes.
and the specific trails that you can take in those areas. So we went from Santa Fe, which is a place where core mountain bikers have identified as a place to live and ride as part of their daily lifestyle. And then Gallup is trying to establish itself as the next adventure hub, so the new Moab. So you heard it here first, Gallup, the new Moab, and mountain biking is a key part of that.
It is.
Angel Fire is one of the top facilities in the country.
Well, you also mentioned in the magazine that Angel Fire is a great place not only to do the mountain biking, but to also spectate mountain bikers.
They have a lot of events up there. In fact, they host the Collegiate National Championships. They did it last year. They're doing it again this year. They're having, they have brew and bike fests all the time. They have a lot of things going on in Angel Fire, and they have the lift-served downhill trails all during the summer. So, for people that are really into the going down
stuff.
part.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, the thing that I really appreciated, I'm sure the readers will as well, is the fact that you give people an idea of what's right. If you're just a beginner, if you really want to go nuts, if you really want to be daring, whatever it is. So there's something for everyone. And speaking of going down, the magazine went all the way south to Las Cruces this month as well.
Right.
And you actually found 25 reasons to love the city of the Crosses. So let's talk about the top 5.
All right.
And
well,
then we'll tease everybody to read the rest.
You're right. So, I mean, I hesitate to say the top 5 because we didn't rank them. They're all good.
They're all good.
I'm going down there myself on Wednesday for the first time, and so I will have a fuller report next time with my first-person impressions.
Count on it.
But they have a great downtown that's been revitalized with a gallery scene. It's a college town, so you have some of the cafes and late-night places to eat and college-y stuff. So you've got those urban amenities.
Yes.
They have a lot of events, in September, October, November.
Sure.
Fiesta, rodeo, wine and food. In November, they have an annual mariachi concert, festival, which is the biggest conference of its kind in the world, I think. And then they go all out for the Day of the Dead. So they got a lot of Mexican flavor down there, which is interesting. And then they've got the museums and golf courses. It's a big retirement area.
Yes.
It's getting national attention for that now. And then, of course, there's shopping and vintagey kind of fun, funky places.
Yes.
And then Mesilla with that sort of old,
old village
flavor. So places to eat and drink and, lots to do.
Something for everyone. I mean, you're talking about the college kids all the way to the people who are retiring there. So
I think that's what makes it
nice.
Sounds to me like it makes it a really kind of holistic community that has something for everybody.
Absolutely.
And I'm looking forward to checking it out for myself.
Yeah, and really, check out the 25 because it really gives a nice detailed explanation of what's going on and why Las Cruces would be a great place to visit. And I also want to talk about amazing grazing because this showcases the Agri-Tourism, which is a huge thing, of course. So explain that to our viewers as well.
Okay, Agritourism is a new trend in tourism that think of it like ecotourism to encourage food culture and rural culture instead of just natural culture and indigenous culture.
Exactly.
So you basically take a trip, get out of your car to places where there are farms, ranches, orchards, etc., and have an interactive experience there. You don't just grab and go. You learn something, you do something, you pick it yourself. It's an education, it's an experience. You get to know the people and their lifestyle. And if it still doesn't make sense what it's all about, I think you know, the Hatch Chili Festival is coming up.
Oh, yeah.
And that to me is like an agritourism event that all New Mexicans can relate to because you know, it just goes to the state's identity.
No kidding. And you know, I think a lot of people might get overwhelmed because it is a big state and there's a lot of places to go, but what's nice is that during harvest season, of course, it's also a time to hit the road, and the issue basically maps out 3 road trips that you can follow for farm and ranch fun. So you can actually look at these maps and really get an idea where things are. That's one of the things I really appreciated. So what are some of the highlights that we can share with everybody that we'll find along the way?
Well, there are, you know, farm stands, farmers markets, you pick orchards, wineries. There are great wine circuits.
I like that part especially.
That's there are harvest festivals. There are places where you can buy pecans and pistachios, you know, straight from the producers, where you can get homemade pies in orchard country. I mean, all these kinds of things to, you know, to eat and drink and
about honey.
do.
Honey.
Yeah, no, there is an overwhelming amount of stuff in that part of the state to go and see and do, and then next year we're going to do the same thing for the northern part of the state.
Good.
And this is a state that is just like for mountain biking. It seemed purpose-built for this kind of, you know, activity and touring because we have small farms that are family-owned, multi-generation. It's not like you're driving through a million acres of wheat fields, you know, and it's just, you know, it's a huge farm machinery. It's, you know, families, you know, producing it, making it, and selling it, and you can meet the people that do it.
Yeah, and beyond that, I want to really mention this. Your readers can actually get away from it all in a cozy cabin if they want to stay the night somewhere. So where can we go into a river trance? I really love this section.
Okay, well, you know, any place there's rivers in this state, there's going to be cabins on them for rent. So we've selected a few of the ones that we think are, you know, exemplary, but I think there are more where those came from. But so just to name some of the areas where we picked them out.
Yes.
Red River, Jemez Springs, Pecos Canyon, Los Brazos, and then down in Ruidoso. And, you know, it's time when people that like to fish are, you know, they're thinking about getting out there for trout season. And I don't know about you, but I'm not going to pay money to fly myself someplace on vacation next year.
Why do you need to?
I'm staying right in New Mexico.
Staycation it out, for sure. And, you know, in addition to all the things we've talked about, I really want to ask you this really quickly, Dave, is that we talk a little bit about the movers and shakers. That's a great section. And this time around, you showcase a spirited couple that you call a curious pair that made good on an impossible dream. So tell us about Ron and Ola Dolan and Don Quixote Spirits.
All right. Well, these people have taken, you know, meeting cute to a very, you know, sort of, you know, high-proof international level.
Yes.
Ron is a nuclear physicist at Los Alamos. Ola was a translator in the Ukraine.
Yes.
And they sort of just, you know how things happen sometimes.
Yes.
but I don't know how it happens, but it happened for them.
It did.
So Ron went over to meet her, and they fell in love, and it's a love story was on, and then they found out that they had this common ground.
Yeah.
Ron had always been a hobbyist distiller, like in his college dorm room and stuff like that, kind of a, you know, a spirits geek. And Ola's family, turns out her father and her grandfather were both vodka makers in the Ukraine.
Isn't that crazy? That's crazy.
So he got the family recipe.
The biggest irony to the whole story, though, is that she mentions that they don't really drink.
They
don't really drink, but it's a success whether or not, you know, whether they drink or not. Now, before you go, I have to mention this really quickly, is that whether your readers are a little bit country or a little bit rock and roll, they're also going to enjoy the story about a young country traditionalist, Will Banister, who is wowing crowds all over the world. Real quickly, can you just tell us about Will?
Will is a young man, 24 years old, from Port Dallas, plays at a honky-tonk in Clovis twice a week. He's a country boy that sounds just like young Merle Haggard. And he's got a bit of a following in the UK now because he played a big concert with Reba as a headliner or something last year at Wembley. And he's going and touring the UK. So he's a New Mexico born and bred country boy, and he does not appear to have Nashville stars in his eyes. He's just, you know,
he loves New Mexico.
He's a homeboy.
Well, we all love New Mexico. So how can our viewers subscribe to New Mexico Magazine?
Well, you can pick up the issue at the newsstand, and of course we've got these blow-in cards that, you know, are subscription offers. You can go to nmmagazine.com and subscribe that way. And if you don't like us yet on Facebook, you should, because once we reach the next plateau of Facebook likes, we're going to do a special offer for subscriptions that everybody that's a Facebook friend can enjoy. So,
fantastic.
you know.
Thank you so much, Dave. I know that was a lot to get through in a little short amount of time, and we got it. So thank you so much. I'm encouraging you to read this month's issue. It's great. And still ahead on New Mexico Style, find out how cheerleading inspires excellence. Rah, rah.